Hello, my narcissistic abuse family. Um, you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes here, but it's towards the end of the day. It's been hotter than Haiti here in Jersey, so hopefully I don't look like a drowned rat, but I would love to tackle this topic. My topic today is about sibling triangulation in a narcissistic family. So I say this often because I just can't drive it home enough that narcissistic abuse is abhorrent, it's disgusting, and I find it deplorable. I believe these people are total cowards and they target the kindest, most vulnerable people. Sorry, that's my disclaimer, but basically this focus today, I'm speaking about how siblings are triangulated against one another in a narcissistic home when you have a narcissistic parent. And this is very deliberate and intentional. Again, these people are cowards and they're disgusting, and anyone that would take advantage of a child in this way, I believe, is just the lowest of the low. So, this happened to me, so I have personal experience, but basically, narcissists, when they're your parent, they'll basically triangulate the entire family because it's like divide and conquer. That's the concept basically that they're working off of here. We know that narcissists are excessively immature. So they just go for the path of least resistance to achieve their ultimate goal of forwarding themselves and their agenda. Narcissists are control freaks, so they want to turn everyone in the family unit against each other. So this helps to elevate them and put them at the helm. So my narcissistic mother very successfully did this between myself and the golden boy. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, I don't understand why he hates me the way he does. Now that I see this situation for what it is, and I recognize narcissistic abuse, it makes so much sense. Everything has come together like a puzzle, like I've often used that analogy in my Instagrams. But when your parent is a narcissist and you have siblings, they love to turn siblings against each other because they don't want siblings to get together and to confer about how awful this parent is. So they want you to hate one another. And again, like I said, putting themselves at the center of everything. So that you'll each go to the narcissist to complain about each other. It's pathetic, it's sad, and it's evil. So, my personal experience, I grew up in a toxic as hell environment where I had no one. I know that some of you have amazing relationships with your siblings, and God bless you. That's beautiful and amazing and such a gift, such a blessing, but not my experience. My experience, I had the golden boy older brother, like I said, and I feel like it was just so easy for her to manipulate the situation in her favor the way she wanted it to go because I'm coming into the family as the imposter, basically. I was the baby. So they had already established their toxic dynamic prior to my arrival. So the narc mother was able to vilify me in a way that appealed to the golden boy. You know, he was the number one only focus in the family. And then here comes me as the baby sister, and I was portrayed to be the problem. And I've spoke about this in my last video. You know, they always basically categorized me as a rebellious, angry, emotional teenager. And they got away with it because they only have surface relationships with people. People really don't grasp what's going on behind the scenes. So they didn't know me from a hole in the wall. So they were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Why is she so miserable all the time? She's a miserable, rebellious teenager, right? So, same thing with sibling rivalry, essentially. This is how it appears to outsiders. Oh, it's just sibling rivalry. They just, they're at each other's throats because that's how siblings are. It's another category that is just a broad generalization that people that do not understand what's going on behind the scenes will just pass it off as that type of situation. So basically, my older sibling was 3 years older than me. So basically, I was a freshman in high school when he was a senior. You would think, oh, that's so great. You have an older brother. No, not the case at all. I was so excited that he would drive me to school and that I would have a ride because that was everything back in the day. And do you know that he deliberately was late to school every single day just to spite me? And do you know that the toxic duo did nothing about it? They just let it happen. And, true to form, I was on my own to fend for myself and to figure this out. Children that are raised in a narcissistic home are burdened with navigating their way through life. And this was just par for the course for me. I was used to being on my own. I was used to navigating things for myself. So it didn't faze me that, wow, this is utterly wrong that my own parents are not sticking up for me. So I was a freshman and I was on the JV volleyball team, which was awesome and cool situation that occurred. My coach was the Golden Boys homeroom teacher. So my coach was not marking this jerk late for showing up to school late for first period. But my teacher, of course, was a Spanish teacher, and she marked me late over and over and over every single time. So that resulted in detention. So when my coach caught wind of this, because obviously I was late to practice, because I had detention, he was like, what's going on? And of course I filled him in, and he started marking the golden boy late for first period whenever he was late. So basically, moral of the story is this awesome, incredible man stuck up for me. I think back in hindsight and I'm like, that's so awesome that an adult intervened for me. Even though it doesn't sound like much, I appreciate that sincerely at later in life as I reflect back on everything. So the golden boy was deliberately triangulated against me by the toxic duo. I was labeled as being bad and rebellious and everything that they could do to turn him against me. And hook, line, and sinker, it worked very well because to this day, he hates me. We have no contact. We have not spoken in 7 years, I guess. It's since Joey passed. We lost contact because I've mentioned this before, you know, while Joe and I were going through this awful, horrific experience, you know, you think your family would rally around you and support you, but narcissistic families won't do that. So the golden boy, of course, did not. He was like too busy like criticizing me for, you know, people were donating money and meals and all kinds of amazing things that awesome people did to help. And total strangers, by the way, were doing this. My own family, like, had nothing to do with us. But anyway. So the golden boy was like, you know, counting my pennies and criticizing us for what we were spending our money on and stuff. Unfathomable. It's just beyond comprehension. Like, someone's going through this torturous time in their life, and my own brother was not supporting me. He married someone that absolutely aligned with him, that loves the fact that he hates me, and we have no relationship, so that was fanned the flames of that as well. So, and they had a son that was the same age as our son, and they wanted to shelter him from what was going on. Too much to talk about. I don't want to go down that road because it's just gross and sad. But the point of this video is all about sibling triangulation from narcissistic parents. They do it intentionally. Children are beautiful and vulnerable and trusting. So when your parent is feeding you this toxicity, you just gobble it up because you don't know any better. And this is why I find narcissistic parents to be so disgusting, is they take advantage of that, of children that are beautiful, innocent, vulnerable creatures, and the parent will just swoop in and manipulate you and your relationships with your own brothers and sisters. It's gross. But they do it because narcissists are obsessed with control, and they always want to be the center of everything. So that includes the family. They don't want anyone teaming up against them, so they will divide and conquer. Like I said, siblings are absolutely turned against one another. So if this happened to you, I'm sincerely sorry. I'm in the same boat. If you do have a salvageable relationship with a sibling, God bless you guys, and lean on each other and compare notes about this nightmare parent that you grew up with. But anyway, guys, we're bumped and we're bruised, but more than anything, we are blessed. And I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. I hope I gave you some valuable takeaway from this. I'll be back soon. See ya.